Continuing on, now that we have the software set the way we want it, let's go and explore some of these different attributes of this system. The first thing we're going to look at is the base reflectivity tab right here. And if you go to products, this is the one that's typically set as the system starts up. And if you'd really like to get in and understand what is happening with radar, you can go to an excellent site by the National Weather Service, and the URL is www.srh.noaa.gov/jetstream/doppler/how.htm, and it shows exactly how radar works, the Doppler advantage, how the radar scans the horizon, and the different inclinations and tilts of the radar. And that's really what this is doing here, is this 0.5 degree inclination is the base reflectivity, or the tilt of the radar. So this image is what the radar is seeing at this point in time. So that's that first tab right here. I guess in order to get the data, what you want to do is you want to start with this Site button. So here's Cleveland, Ohio right here, and I live out here in Perrysburg, Ohio, which is a part of Northwest Ohio near the Toledo, Ohio area. And all our weather data for this region is coming from Cleveland, and this is actually coming from the Cleveland Hopkins International Airport, a radar on site right there, just southwest of Cleveland. And each one of these areas that's got a sort of cyan color, you can actually go ahead and click on these, and it'll bring up the radar for that site. You can actually, if you want it out of the Detroit area, or for example the Fort Wayne area, you can actually double click on that, and this is what Fort Wayne's radar sees. We're going to go back to Cleveland, and we'll just scroll out a little bit just so you can see. The way to add it to these always on menus down here for quick access, if you go and choose select, and you can actually choose what state you're in and the particular radar site that's closest to you. Go ahead and choose that, hit OK, and it'll take you right there. Then you can go ahead and add it to your favorites, which will bring it down here into this button. But pretty much these are the radars I'm interested in, since they're around my home and workplace. So that's the way I have got it set. And like we set before, these are pretty much the basic things you want to have turned on. Have that base reflectivity, the echo tops, storm attributes, 1 hour rainfall, and these warning windows, and really that'll get you started in playing with the software. So the way the software works is it's downloading data from the National Weather Service, from the GRLevel3 radar, and the imagery that comes from there can be several minutes old by the time it gets loaded into the software here. So just be aware of that, some of those safety issues we discussed. Not much going on in our area today. This right here, this toolbar along the left, shows the amount of actual radar signal that's bouncing back to the radar, and pretty much anything in these lower purple, blue, some of that can be considered ground clutter. It just depends. For example, right around the radar here, you see some of these little blues and purples. What that most likely is ground clutter, whether that's buildings or ground moisture, whatever it is. We've had a lot of rain in our area, so some of this may be false echoes. Anything in green, yellow, and definitely red, purple, and white, those are very severe. These are probably anything green and yellow are going to be your passing shower or thunder shower. So that kind of just gives you an indication as to how severe the storms are. And I'll show you some severe storms happening around the country right now. The tops tab can actually give you information on the height of the clouds. So the more severe storms, the taller the tops of the thunderstorms get, and this will show you down here, same kind of grid, but this will show you in thousands of feet. So some of those storms that we saw here, they're not very tall. They're only a few, 10,000 feet in the air, or I guess they can go down, several hundred feet above the ground or 1,000 feet above the ground all the way up. Very, very, very dangerous thunderstorms get into the 40, 50,000 feet into the air, but these are pretty mild rain showers happening. Looks like they've only got about 10,000 feet above ground level tops. And 1 hour rainfall, this is pretty much anything under an inch in this area right here. Anything up into this orange and red area, that's 3 inches of rain an hour, and that's what the radar is telling us. So it just depends on how dense and how much radar imagery is coming back from the system. So it's kind of just given that those 3 tabs gives you quite a bit of information. This over here shows the base reflectivity and reflectivity when it comes to weather spotting is just the amount of energy that's being reflected from the storms back into the radar. So that's what reflectivity means, and that 0.5 degree is the tilt at which the radar is bouncing back the echoes. Actually, a really good place to go if you want more information is that Jetstream site, and this will actually show you how radar works in general and what the tilts are and what VCPs, the volume coverage pattern, is and what that means. It's very interesting. If it's kind of a little can get a little nerdy, so just be aware of that. And coming back to that VST and VCP, etc. So it's showing our site right here where all this imagery is coming from. It's coming from Cleveland. The VST, which is the volume starting time, is essentially the time that the radar started scanning the in that 360 degree range. So it started at 9:38 and 6 seconds. The prod right here, this product time, is that the time the radar image was downloaded right to our system here. And the VCP, you're typically going to see numbers here of 12 or 21. If it's storms, they're probably going to be right around 12 or so, which means it's taken 4 minutes to fully sweep a 360 degree pattern. A 21 indicates 6 minutes, and so on and so forth. So this looks like it had a VCP of 31, and you can read more information on the Jetstream site about that. And the tilt here was that 0.5 degrees inclination. So that's kind of the way it's set up. So some other checkboxes over here you're going to want to have, and we'll go over to the smoothing. This one's kind of interesting and is one of the benefits of the GRLevel3 software. The GRLevel3 uses hardware and software based rendering. So what you typically get from the radar is this pixelated imagery. It's all kind of digitized by the radar system. And the GRLevel3, what it's done is actually, if you choose smooth, it uses hardware acceleration to kind of smooth out these rain rings and storm clouds, etc., to give you a better indication of where the storm is. Like this dot right here is probably a false echo, so the software kind of smoothed it out and actually got rid of it. And one thing I'd like to turn on too is the range rings when I'm relaying information to other operators. This range rings, if you right click anywhere and choose place marker, it'll move that red dot. So typically at my home I've got the marker set, and the range rings will move around that marker. So we can see that these range rings are about 50 miles apart from this ring, or I'm sorry, they're 25 miles apart from the center of that marker out to the next ring is about 25 nautical miles. Another ring out is 50 nautical miles. So the storm is probably happening right about the 55 nautical mile mark from my house to the northeast. And it'll show you down here right where your arrow's at and at what degree from this marker, the storm and the distance. So that's one kind of neat thing with the range rings, and we'll turn it off just for more clarity here. Let's get into the storm attributes and the storm warnings, and we'll cover that in the next video.